Okay guys, welcome back. So it's Monday afternoon and we're going to chat a little bit about Phil's win yesterday.
Yeah, big win.
Delighted, I think everyone in golf was delighted to see Phil get back in the winner's circle. Such a popular guy, and obviously from not to have won since the Open in 2013, that was massive for him.
It was
really
huge, yeah,
to
so
get
big.
a win. And his game was trending so well over the last few weeks. I mean, 3 top 6 finishes in his last 3 events.
Yeah.
He was knocking on the door, and it was great to see him close. I loved how well he started the round yesterday. You know, getting some early birdies in there, really aggressive, and kind of set his stall out, which was really cool to see. As a fellow lefty, you must be over the moon.
He's loving it. Yeah, I've been a Phil fan for a little while,
yeah,
for
no
sure.
doubt
So
about
we're happy to see him get a win.
You know, I think it's just so cool to see someone 47 years old, and he's trying everything he can to kind of still improve. And he says there's parts of his game now that have never been better.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
He's
amazing.
he's hitting it pretty far.
He really started to focus in 2015, 2016. His swing speed dropped a little bit, a couple of miles an hour club head speed. And he started working with the super speed golf program with the 3-weighted sticks and doing all the protocols. And he's actually saw his club head speed spike up this year, 2 to 3 miles an hour, which to him has been worth another 10, 15 yards, which is huge. So I think
it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. You know, when he's already pretty long anyway.
Yeah, he hits it far.
You know, I was looking at some of the numbers he was getting on the feed yesterday, and I'm a little sceptical, but they were reporting that his ball speeds at times were in the high 170s, 180s.
Yeah.
There was one that was reported at 184 that I'm sceptical about.
Probably a bit of a misread.
Bit of a misread, but even if it's mid 170s towards 180, that's quick.
Because he was more like low 170s at most.
He was getting towards that, without a doubt. So we just want to chat a little bit about Phil's bag. He's always had quite unique preferences in his equipment. So Callaway, you know, has hit their marquee guy. So using this year's Rogue driver, 9 degrees sub-zero, always goes for the low spin option.
He does, yeah. And what is it about his swing that you think that it's at the speed mostly? He needs that.
His speed, he does hit up on it a bunch, so he launches up there, so he kind of needs the low spin head to flatten out the flight.
Gotcha.
So we always talk about the spin loft characteristics. So he needs the low spin head to, you know, sort of complement that high launch angle with the low spin rate, so you can get maximum distance out of it.
And he's been trying to hit some more fades, from what I understand. So that's probably a reaction to that as well, to try not to hit spinny fades.
Yeah.
Try to hit some nice long fades.
Without doubt. And he's been working a lot in his swing. Since he left Butch, he's been working a lot and trying to get a little bit shallower in his downswing.
Yes.
You know, for the longest time, he's got quite a long backswing, always had that. I think that's why at 47 he is hitting it so long, because he's not lost any length to his backswing.
Big turn, and he's just, and as you said, with the super speed, I think he's just getting more speed down the bottom.
No question.
He's always had the ability to rotate and get that club in a good spot.
Without a doubt. So so he's using the Rogue Sub-Zero 9 degree hazardous T1100, really stiff shaft in there again, trying to kind of, you know, gain the control with that. In the 3-wood, he was using the Rogue, Callaway Rogue 13.5 head again, you know, opting for a really low spin option, really fast. And quite good for him as well, that if he does get a little wayward off the tee, he can use that 13.5 as a little driver backup.
And he's been a kind of backup driver guy for a long time.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, well, he's at times where he's taken the driver out.
Completely out of the bag.
There's other times where he's went with 2 drivers. So, you know, that's the thing why Phil's always so interesting when it comes to set makeup. There's always thought behind everything, especially, you know, we're coming up to Augusta, and he's always got a different way in which he wants to play the course, whether it's taking out the driver, going with 2 drivers, whatever it may be.
Yeah, he's well, the Faraday interview, if you caught that, he probably just touched on how scientific he is, but I have never heard anyone talk about golf that way in my life. It's
interesting. Well, you know, his work with Dave Peltz over the years to really find the stats and, you know, make sure that every decision, you know, is bound from reason, makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So in that 3-wood, he's using a Mitsubishi shaft. It's called the Fubuki J. So a little bit of a counterbalance product. Actually, we carry it on the wall here at TXG. So he's obviously looking for that to, you know, complement the low loft with a little bit of a higher launch shaft. Fubuki J is a little more tip soft, which is interesting. He's using also the Rogue hybrid with a KBS hybrid shaft. He's very, very close with Kim Brayley.
Okay.
Always has been very close with Kim Brayley. He worked with Kim Brayley from KBS Shafts on the original line of Project X shafts.
Oh, really?
The old satin ones that some of you guys watching this might be familiar with. He worked with Kim on that. And then when Kim started KBS, his own company, Phil was really his main tour player that he was working with to develop his shaft. So the shaft that he plays in his irons was actually specifically built for him.
Really?
Yeah, that Tour V bend profile was specifically for Phil. He originally used the KB Tour. He wanted something a little bit stronger, which is what Tour V is, a little bit of a stronger tip section.
Yep.
So that was all developed for him. So we've been kind of on this theme the last couple of weeks about the hotter irons, and Phil uses one. In the 4-iron, he uses the Epic Pro 4-iron. So he's got the forged irons from 5 to wedge, but the 4-iron he's went for the hotter option.
Gotcha.
On that.
And you think he's doing that to get some more launch and spin into the green? He's not using that as a driving iron, probably.
No,
because that would need to be more like a 2.
Exactly.
2-iron. Gotcha.
Yep. So he's got that. So he can able to maybe get a little bit more out, ask for a little bit more distance from it should he need to, and with the hotter construction on that Epic line, they are really fast.
Yeah.
In those. So he's using the X Forged 5 to wedge. Really good looking iron. Great feel. We're actually doing really well with that one in here at TXG. In his wedges, he's an interesting set makeup in the wedges. He's got his PM grind 56, 60, 64.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
He's got a big gap then,
He's got a bit of a gap and stuff. So obviously he'll probably be certain times he will maybe play a gap wedge. But that 64 he feels is worth so much to him around the greens. You can never.
Well, the shot he hit yesterday that was miles in the air and stopped and almost holed out on I forget what hole, but
absolutely.
That
he lipped it out, didn't he?
Yeah.
Fit the flag.
You're not hitting that shot with a 60. There's no way.
And I think the unsung hero in the whole thing is his putter. His putter's been off the charts. I mean, we're talking about how much speed he's gained, and that's great for his game. But the reality is, it's his putter that's been performing incredibly well, which is quite unique in that towards the latter part of your 40s as a tour player. There's almost, I would say, 90% of guys, that's the one part of their game that suffers a little bit.
Like Ernie Els, for example, still hits it great, but his putting has obviously taken a dive.
Your nerves aren't quite the same as you are when you're a Justin Thomas or a Jordan Spieth.
No kidding. So he's been switching to the kind of that claw grip. But actual putter spec-wise, not a whole lot he's done, is it? It's similar head to what he's always played.
He's using the same head as he was when he won the Open at Muirfield in 2013.
So
he's
that's a long time.
Same putter. I saw some footage last night of him holing out that birdie putt in the last green at Muirfield, and it was the same putter he was using. Maybe spec-wise, I'm not too sure if they've made tweaks. I'm sure they have. He is someone who's likely to do that sort of thing. But in terms of that number 9 Odyssey,
not a drastic change.
Same sort of thing. So. I thought it was a fun event. I mean, obviously, Justin Thomas holing out from the 18th fairway.
Crazy.
That guy, I think we talked about it last week when we were talking about the Honda, about how clutch he is. I keep going on about how clutch that guy is. When you have the nerve to just dial yourself in the big moment, you are an unbelievable golfer.
Yeah. I think he'll only get better for the next 5 years.
No question.
He's not going to get worse at closing out tournaments. He's just getting more confident every time.
He's showing so many. I mean, I'm not saying he is the next Tiger. I don't think there's going to be such a thing, in this near future. But he has a lot of Tiger's tendencies, in that when he gets a sniff of a win, he wins. Yes. He started the week playing horrible. He said he's never felt so bad on the golf course.
Even par 2 in 2 rounds, and
then shoots 62, 64 in the weekend.
Crazy.
He sent some footage to his dad. His dad said, his arms were getting a little bit away from him in the downswing. Wanted to kind of get that connection, a little bit more and back into swing. He goes lights out and played some unbelievable golf.
It really was
over the weekend. So he's got to be favourite, I would think, going into Augusta.
Has to be.
Got to be.
Has to be.
And the form he's been in is got to make him favourite. So I mean, a fun event, and what was unique about it was the elevation.
Yes.
Gave the event a whole different perspective.
And I thought NBC and Golf Channel, they did a good job. Most of those iron shots, they gave you that calculation.
That's right. Yeah.
To let you know what that difference is.
They subtracted the 15% and give you more of an accurate.
And I don't think people are aware of. I mean, even if you say you play. That's crazy elevation. Like 8,000 feet's crazy, but let's say you play most of your golf at 4 or 5.
Sure.
And then you go on a trip and you're down at sea level. You're going to go to California, Hawaii, something like that. You're right at sea level. You're going to lose yards.
Without doubt. I mean, you go to Florida, for a buddy's trip, and then the next time you go to maybe
Denver or something.
Yeah, Denver, exactly. Go to Arizona, go to Scottsdale, and go up to Desert Mountain at 3,000 feet, and you've got that 10% or whatever it is to play with, and it's important. So we thought we'd have a little fun.
Absolutely.
And get our resident tour pro here who hits it as far as these guys to have a little fun. Let's see what elevation does.
Yeah, because I've when you first showed me this machine, I noticed kind of all those fun little things you can change. But it's kind of cool to let people actually see. It's not on TV. This is, we're testing it right here. What are the actual differences you're going to see if you do go on a trip and you're playing at a drastically different elevation? When
I first got the quad, the first thing I done was set the settings in the machine to 550 feet.
Right.
If you go on to basically ask basically what elevation Toronto Pearson Airport is, it's just shy of 550 feet.
Perfect.
That's literally the detail I want to be able to deliver to our customers, that you are hitting it exactly as you would be in the Toronto area.
And if you had a customer come in for a session, like a practice member, and they said, I'm going to Mexico City, they could come in and do 2 hours, jack it up to 8,000 and gap all their clubs.
Do a gapping session and all that sort of stuff.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, which is amazing, and that's testament to the technology. So why don't we hit some and see what's going on?
Sounds
Normally, guys, we ask Matt to kind of maybe dial it back a little bit for you guys to see the relevance for you with what's going on. No limits.
Yeah, let's have some fun. Yeah,
we'll let's get that club head speed up a little bit.
Sounds good.
Okay. So what we got, 6-iron?
6-iron. We're going to start at the normal sea level.
We are going to. Yeah, that's a good idea. So let's set that at here.
Toronto level.
Like we talk about 5,500 or 550.
Because your true zero is playing by the ocean.
That's right.
Other than that, you're probably at least a little bit of elevation.
Exactly. Okay, let's set a couple. Okay, Matt, so we're going to set the altitude at 550, like we said, where we are here in Toronto. Let's hit a couple with this, and then let's get it to Mexico, 7,900 elevation.
All right.
Have a little fun.
Sounds good.
Okay, really good. So 207, and that's what we are here. So 132 ball speed, 101. Very much tour level. Nice. Really nice. We're letting Matt loose today. Very good.
It's pretty good strikes.
8, yeah. 134. I'm excited to see what this really centered there, Matt. That's really good.
We'll do 3 with each, maybe?
Yeah, let's do 3 with each.
Try to draw one a little bit here.
Okay. That was nice. Good swing. A little more in that one, eh?
As we learn, the draw goes a bit further.
Yep.
All right.
We're going to send Matt out in the long drive tour if he keeps this up. Okay, so this is the non-jacked up numbers, guys. So let's get it up now to 7,900, the same as what they were. Driving that first green in Mexico.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Is that one of the highest altitude golf courses in the world?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't think of anywhere that's...
I wouldn't know of one.
That's crazy.
Higher than that.
All right.
Okay, let's see.
So they were saying 15%.
15.
So let's see how...
We should be good for at least another 30-ish yards here.
Now you're putting pressure on me.
Okay.
It's a good strike.
Flushed it as well. Okay, so he's just flown the 230-yard green.
Yeah, so they're not kidding.
Wow. That's insane. Now you've absolutely flushed that 140 ball speed, but yeah,
was that faster than the other ones?
But that's a different game, isn't it? I mean, you can see how how funky that must have been for the caddies last week. I mean, Justin Thomas in the playoff, 161 yards to that 17th hole in the playoff. He's pulled gap wedge and he's hit it through the back of the green.
Like, it's nuts.
Incredible.
I'm actually surprised that they shot as good scores as they did.
Yeah.
To me, I need to be down there for a month to get used to that.
There was some chat last night whether actually that was having the placement of that tournament where it is in the calendar is good leading into a major, because it's so funky to be hitting them as far as they are. So they actually felt that might not be the best best idea leading into the Masters. But
sounds like a bunch of whining to me.
100%. I mean, you're hitting it that far.
Well, listen, what drives the whole thing? People love watching that.
Enjoy it for 1 week. They're going to be back at sea level next week at the Valspar.
Yeah.
You know.
They got all week to figure that out. All right, let's see if we can do that again.
Okay, a couple more like that. Oh, we've turned that one over. That's the knuckleball.
That might go further.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Quite hard to believe, isn't it?
So let me hit a little bit of a fade, because I know I faded one at the beginning.
Well, you de-lofted that one a little bit. I mean, if we just kind of pull the numbers up on the dynamic loft, that was your lowest dynamic loft, 22. You were kind of 27, 24, 26 with the first one.
Right. Let me try to hit a bit of a fade, because we should still see that go 25 yards further.
You'll still be hitting at 230.
Yeah. All right. Let's try it.
Oh, Matt's on form today, guys. Carried that.
Yeah.
Just about 223.
225 or so?
Yeah, about that.
So if I fade a 6-iron normally, like 195 tops.
It's good.
There's no way I could hit it further than that.
Okay. A lot of fun.
It wasn't even a very good strike either, was
Oh,
it?
that's it. I mean, your ball speed just kind of dropped 7 miles an hour less than the previous ones. A little bit low in the blade.
It was low heel.
Yeah, a little bit low heel.
heel.
Well, pretty cool to see.
It is cool, yeah.
You know, different game last week. I thought it was a great tournament. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it.
It was a blast to watch.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I think, and honestly, if from a practical standpoint, if you're going to go on a trip and you know it's hugely different, because there's people that take their golf trips pretty seriously, myself included. If you can find yourself, TrackMan does it too, no?
TrackMan does it as well.
So TrackMan or GC Quad, if you can go for a little session and do this and make some notes for yourself.
Start to base your yardages on what you're seeing in here. Yep,
because if you go somewhere and airmail the first green on your vacation by 30 yards, you're gonna be pretty mad.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Awesome.
I know. Cool, guys. That was fun. We're going to try and make this a regular feature. This kind of Monday delivery of what the winner had in the bag, and try and kind of break it and dissect it for you guys. Give you some insight into maybe why they're playing such products. Last week we thought we could add this in just to show you guys kind of what Matt can do at that altitude. So we're going to be doing this every Monday now, and just keeping it as a regular feature in the show. We appreciate you watching.